it's Kimberly here. It's been a while since I made a video. The last video I made was about Jonah Hill, and just before I start, it's like 105 here. I have the windows open. There's a little breeze coming through. It's so hot here. There's a little breeze coming through. Okay, I usually wear a hat, but it is so hot, and I just threw my hair up, and couldn't find something. I have one of those, what do you call those clips? It's like those big black paper clips with the little silver thing. I just had to put my hair up. It was so hot, and I've got my holy shirt on today. But hopefully this will be the last week of super hot weather. It's been like in the hundreds. It's just, we have, August can be extremely hot here, or it can start tapering down. I think maybe next week it might be in the mid to high 90s, and then maybe in a couple weeks it'll go down to the low 90s. Hopefully. Ooh, I hope so. But I might be a little sweaty today, so I'm going to be blotting my face. But to continue on with the Jonah Hill situation, actually I wasn't going to make another video, but I had a couple of discussions, or a little bit of argumentative discussion with a few people about this subject, and I was really kind of shocked at some of the response, and especially from the women that I spoke with. To me, I was not I didn't like it. I didn't like what he said. To me it was not acceptable. And that being in a way of the way he was treating his partner, because he had been with her for 6 months. I'm talking about Sarah Brady, whom at the time that he sent that message to, they had been together for about 6 months, I believe. And he gave her this message through text, and it was a list of demands or some behaviors that she had to correct or meet in order to be in a romantic relationship with him. And he used the word boundary, which to me, boundary is like a perimeter around yourself so that people don't violate your space, your likes, your dislikes, it keeps a buffer between you and other people and what is comfortable for you. So a boundary is more a perimeter around you, not something that you put around somebody else. That's what I feel and I believe. I don't know the exact, Webster dictionary definition of boundary. But to me that's what boundary means. It's, a line that you don't cross, or that's put there for a reason. And calling those things boundaries, I think that was, maybe in hindsight, maybe if he really thought about it, that was the wrong word to use, because those were more like demands that, if you want to be in a relationship with me, this is what I want. And that's okay. But you should do that at the beginning of a relationship, not 6 months in or a year in. When you decide that you want to change somebody else's behavior, that's more that you have changed and you want them to match what you want. That's what that is. If you discuss things in the beginning like deal breakers and what you expect of a partner, things like that, that's what you do when you're getting to know somebody. And doing that 6 months in, I think that's you showing a change in yourself, that you're not accepting of that behavior now, even though it was okay in the beginning, you're perfectly fine with it, and actually some of that behavior attracted you to that person. But now you've changed what you like. And to throw that on somebody that far in, I think that's really unfair. And I think to me it's very deceptive. And I think that's why I have an issue with it more than anything, is because this is an issue that happens with men a lot, with men trying to meet women's expectations and drawing them into a relationship. And I know it can go both ways. Yes, it can. I'm going to acknowledge that, yes. But you need to be able to allow the other party to say no to you. And a lot of people don't want to do that. That's controlling behavior. I notice this a lot. I had experiences with this when I was much younger. I don't date now. I'm I guess resigned to being by myself, and I'm okay with that. That's happy. It's actually something that a lot of women, or even men, I've seen men on TikTok saying, I'm just tired of dating. I'm tired of this, trying to meet other people's expectations, and, the pickings are slim, and, I can't find anybody that I like, or something like that. Whatever the reason is, a lot of people have decided just to be single and just concentrate on themselves. And that's kind of the journey I'm taking in my life now. And I've never been like a big dater. I've never gone on a lot of dates. And actually, this is something really kind of personal about me. But in the past, I would say 34, 35 years, maybe around about that time. I've only dated one person, and I married that person. And I didn't date anybody before that for about 14 years. So I guess I just really was just sick of it, at a really early age, and I was just tired of it. And then I did meet my ex, and well, that did not work out either. And so I've come to this point in my life where I'm just going to be single. I'm just not assuming. I mean, I am doing this. And like I said, a lot of people, I think there's like a demographic over like age 50 that are, I've seen a lot of this on TikTok, that the dating pool over 50 is just not acceptable to them. They just can't find anybody, whether it's physical, or the physicality of what people look like, or their body shapes, or they don't like their behaviors, or there's like a myriad of reasons, whatever it is. I've seen a lot of TikToks people have made that I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life. So for the young people getting into these relationships, and then they're trying to maybe make a family, get married, whether they get married or not. A lot of people are not getting married as much as in I want to say the 50s, 60s, and 70s. In the 80s, people started living together, I think, a lot more. And although I think the 60s kind of started that trend, just living together, not get married, but I think in the 80s it really got a lot, it became a bigger idea to do that instead of getting married. And because I remember that even when I was young in the 80s, I was just out of high school, and there was still a little bit, in the part of the country I live in, it was more traditional. I live in like the reddest state in the whole nation, and the most conservative. And to live together was still a little bit, not taboo, I'm not going to say that, not use that word, but a little bit unacceptable in a way, somewhat. It depended on the group that the type of people you hang around with, or the traditional family you came from, or whatever. But I think it started to change right about that time in the 80s, and by the 90s the 90s came, I think it was like actually not even a big deal, not even talked about. By that time, it really didn't take that much time for that to become, I'm not going to say acceptable, but just not an issue, And nowadays, a lot of people don't get married for specific reasons. And I think a lot of deal breakers are the thing that cause people to not want to get married. They'll live with that person, but it's more like a trial type of live-in situation where they can just pack up and leave really easy. And I think there's a lot of that now, much more because of just the convenience of it. People just do that nowadays. So marriage is not on the table as much, I think. And a lot of younger people don't even think about it that much. I think it's something that isn't really... When I was growing up, it was like that was what was expected and taught, and coming from the background I came from. Get married, have kids, and just live your life. That was the way... it was not even thought of to just, live with this person, unhappy, go moving with this person, meet this person, live with this person. That was just unheard of when I was growing up. So times change. They have changed so much. And I think the idea of a lot of people still holding on to traditional marriage, I think it's hard for some people. You meet these people in this area that believe in that, and then you have this other sector of society that doesn't really believe in that, but they meet the two opposites meet, and then they have to come to some kind of decision, about how they're going to live their life. And I think that's the way Jonah was trying to set a standard for his relationship and possible marriage. But the thing is, he didn't allow her the room to say no to him until it was, they kind of had a set relationship, but within 6 months. I don't know if they were living together or not, but there was some mention of talking about marriage and family, children, something like that. So I believe the relationship was trying to head in that direction, but he did put his demands on her, and he did it in text. They didn't... I'm sure they probably did argue or talk about it, in person. But the texting part of it was just the thing that a lot of people thought that she was wrong in expressing, or exposing it, not expressing, exposing it, and letting it be out in public. And to me, I said in the other video, if you send me a text like that, it's mine. You sent it to me, and it wasn't very private, and it was full of demands, and it was, not a very nice thing, I thought. And if somebody sent me something like that, yes, I would show it to just about anybody who would listen. I don't think it demanded that much privacy. When you're having a private conversation with somebody and you're discussing, details, you do it in person, like traditional, like you want this person to be this way, and you're bringing up values that are important to you. You need to talk to them in person. You need to have that discussion really clear in person. I don't think the text part was really demonstrative of him really wanting a traditional type of relationship if he texted all that. I know a lot of people can't get a hold of that, but if you're going to really mean something, you need to speak directly to somebody, and don't send them a list of demands. And I think one of the biggest part is, I think it's kind of an archaic demand to make a woman give up her job or her livelihood. And it's like it doesn't fit traditional society as of now to demand that a woman give up her money, her freedom, her livelihood, even though that's kind of like what traditional marriage is. It's like being a kept woman. A kept woman is somebody whose money is given by the person that is keeping them. Their financial situation is completely allotted, I guess you could say, like an allowance or something like that, by the person that is keeping them. And a lot of marriages operate like that still. There's a lot of men that do not want their wives to work, or put demands on them that you can't work this job, or you are very, very controlling. And to me, that was a huge issue with it, was the control issue. The controlling behavior that anybody that would tell me that I can't work my job to support myself and to do all the things that I want to do, pay the bills that I need to pay, and be able to have the freedom, the financial freedom, then to me that is extremely controlling. And that was probably one of the biggest issues that I had with that, is taking away somebody's financial freedom. And that happens to women a lot. When you get in a relationship, a lot of demands are put on to you that are very controlling. They want to take away everything, your identity, your job. And a lot of people, their job is their identity. If you have a career, or if you're starting a career that might lead to something else, like she was a surf instructor, and she probably wasn't going to be one for the rest of her life, but she did do modeling, and that could lead to other things. So that kind of shuts her down completely as far as her own separate identity when you take those things away. And that is the main way of controlling somebody, is taking away their identity and their financial freedom. And I think that happens a lot in couples that are not celebrities. So it was a little bit, I think, of an eye-opener to see a celebrity do that to another celebrity. She wasn't like a super famous celebrity, but she did have her own level of, she was on the surfing circuit, and she did, have some small degree of celebrity, I guess, in that realm of the surfing world, which he complained about that a lot in his demands, or the letter that the text, whatever you want to call it, whatever it was. He seemed to be really put off by that. So I think she did have a little bit of a, I'm not going to say falling, I don't know how, I really don't know how to put it, because I didn't know who she was until, I think until he started dating her. I remember seeing that he was dating this surfer girl or something a while back. And she was very pretty, and then it was months later that I saw a picture of them together again. I was like, oh, he's still with that girl. And then this came up just recently. I was like, or not recently, at the time that it happened. Let me see that again. Because he's already with somebody else. He's had a baby. He's in a relationship with somebody else. But at the time that he met her, I saw her. She was very pretty. And then a while back, a little while later, I did see that they were still together. And then this comes out. And it's kind of odd for celebrities to put their stuff out like this, because usually it's not so, usually they're very private about things like this. So that was kind of a little bit of an insight into, there's still some traditionalism, even in Hollywood, even in people in, she was in an insular community in the surfing world. So she wasn't like super famous, super well known like Jonah Hill. He's, incredibly famous. He's been in a lot of movies. He's known worldwide. So she did not have that type of fan base, I guess, but she was known in her own little specific community, and he wanted her to just opt out of that, just to, completely jump out of that community. And when you ask somebody to do something like that, that, like I was talking about, self-identity, that takes a lot away from her. Yet he can still keep his celebrity status, keep doing the things that he does, and be in the movies and do whatever he wants. So, when you have a relationship like that, you can't balance that. You can't keep it on an even keel. When you take something from somebody, the world can become cheated of their talents, and the world will never see their vision. And now she is a law student, the last that I heard, and I think it's in environmental studies. And she's gone on to progress in her life, to go on to do other things. And yes, when you get in a relationship, you do sometimes kind of have to bargain and decide, what kind of lifestyle are you going to live? What kind of house are you going to live in? Where are you going to live? What's the cost of living? Yeah, you do have to go through things like that, setting budgets and deciding what to do. But to completely take somebody's livelihood away from them and to stop them in their tracks financially, I didn't see any offers from him he's a very wealthy guy. He makes a lot of money in these movies. He's, millionaire. He makes a lot of money. He's very bankable. As far as being in a marriage with somebody like that, was he offering any type of allowance? Was he giving her some kind of financial support? Was there some kind of quid pro quo? He's gonna act in these movies, and then, well, I want to be a law student. I want to do this. Is he gonna pay for, her ventures, her things that she wants, goals in her life to meet, and or is she going to just be a stay-at-home mom? Is there any financial security that she has with that? And a lot of people don't want to talk about that. A lot of people don't, they think that's, kind of like being a gold digger, but it's not. You have to secure your financial future. If you don't have laws in your state where you live at, like community property laws or something that protects you in the event of divorce or something that happens, if you don't have any control over, can you even go to the store by yourself? Can you even use bank cards? Do you know where the financial instruments are, that are important? Do you know where life insurance policies are? Do you know anything? A lot of women are shut out of that in like a traditional type of marriage, where the guy doesn't want the woman to work or to have any financial freedom. So I didn't see any text from him saying, if you stop modeling, if you stop doing these things, I will pay for all your college. There will be, is there any kind of discussion going on about financial support? Or if you're going to keep somebody in a marriage and keep them from making their own money, then you have to support them, to the level of lifestyle that they have become accustomed to. And that is legal jargon. That's what happens when you go to divorce court in marriages like this. And they're going to ask for money to keep them in that lifestyle because you have taken something from them in the beginning. And especially women who are expected to just quit their jobs and raise children for 20 years, however long, if they're going to college. It may be longer. Women give up their lives to raise your children and to make your lifestyle, make everything okay so that, like in his situation, he wants to do movies, he's an actor. That person that he's with is going to have to take care of the children mainly if he is going to be the main breadwinner in that relationship. And I didn't see any discussion of that. There was no, like I say, even kill for that, And when I say kill, it's Keel. And that means, for things to balance out. And I didn't see any texts about that. All I saw were texts about demands and what he was not liking and what he was not accepting of that person, even though he met that person with that lifestyle, that type of those types of activities that drew him to her. And if he's going to take that lifestyle away from her, he has to replace it with something else. Okay, that's what I think about it, and see y'all later. Bye.